Today we are mixing up cranberry, white chocolate chip, macadamia nut cookies. Oh my gosh, y'all. Does that not just sound divine? This is going to be incredible. Hi, I'm Melissa Diane. Welcome. So let's get mixing. First thing we're going to do is get our flour. So we have got about 2 1/4 cups of flour. Let's get that all in here. Okay, now after that we've got our baking soda. And let me see how much baking soda. 1 teaspoon. All right. And then it also calls for 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So we'll use the same little measuring thing. We'll just put a little bit in. There, just a little bit of salt. Okay, and that's all you need for your dry ingredients. And we're just gonna mix this up real quick. And then I'm gonna set this aside. Now over here, we're gonna go ahead and get our mixer ready, and we're gonna be using the great big wide paddle if you're using your KitchenAid. And I will just have to tell you, I am such a fan of this mixer. I absolutely love it. I had never had a big mixer like this, and Jay got this for me a few years back now. I actually had this mixer, y'all, for like a year, almost 2 years, and I never used it because I was afraid of it. And when I finally started using this little guy, I fell in love with it. It's fantastic. So now what we'll do is we're gonna get our butter in. So let's see how much butter we need. We need, where did butter go? A cup of butter. Let me scoot this over. We need a cup of butter, so it's the same as 2 large sticks. So let's get this in. We'll put all this in, and then I'll bring you around so you can see better. I've got butter here. It's a little more butter. Now I will tell you, for your butter, I have found when I'm making cookies, like chocolate chip cookies or just really any type of cookie, that you want your butter to be softened, obviously, but not too soft. If you get this butter too soft, then your cookies are going to have a tendency to go flat. So you want it to not be completely room temperature. You want it to be a little bit mushy, but not completely mushy. And before we turn our mixer on, I'm going to go ahead and put in the sugar. I'm going to put in the brown sugar. Okay. And I'm going to put in just my regular white sugar. Let's get that in there. And then another thing that I'm going to do before I get started is I'm going to take my eggs. And you want to make sure with your eggs, I have just learned through trial and error, believe me, that I will take this egg and I like to whisk it up a little bit. And you can do 1 egg at a time if you want. I have found that I just go ahead and I put both of the eggs in together anytime I'm doing cookies, but I make sure that I whisk them. I think it makes a difference. So there they go, and we have this all ready now to go in. And then I'm going to have my vanilla ready because it calls for 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And in some of my other cookie recipes, I put more, but not today. We're going right by the recipe. We've got our butter and our sugar in there, and we're going to turn this on. And y'all, looky here, I forgot, we need to go in. I've already mixed up, let me get over here for you. You can see I've mixed up the brown sugar, and the butter, and it says now you put in that instant pudding and mix all this together before you put in your eggs. So let's get that on, and let's get mixing. And now we're gonna go ahead and put in our eggs. Now, if you're new to using this kind of a mixer, like I was for a long time, you do have to stop and go ahead and rake everything off the side on down into the bottom of your bowl. We're going to put in 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I heard a jingle. There they are. The kids are saying hi. They're actually waiting for an ice cube. They're hoping that I'll give them an ice cube. So y'all, Mama's got to get back to cooking, babies. Now you want this to get mixed up completely, but not too overmixed, okay? We're going to take our flour and baking soda and salt mixture, and I'm going to put this over into our mixer, and we're going to get mixing to get all this together, to get all of our cookie dough finished. We are mixing up really good. Now I'm going to take a cup of these macadamia nuts and I'm going to dump them all in here. Now when I'm doing chocolate chip cookies, if the recipe calls for 1 cup, I always put in 2 because I just love them to be super nice and gooey. For this one, I haven't done it before, so we're going to stick right to the 1 cup. Now we're going to put in our macadamia nuts. Y'all, this is looking so good. And now our dried cranberries. Look at this. Those dried cranberries are in there. Let me stop it now. Look at that dough. Oh, this is going to be so wonderful. Now let's get the paddle out and see what we've got. Looky here, look at our dough. It's looking great. Now let's get it ready for the oven. Okay, so while this is in the refrigerator, I just have to show you something. These kids love ice. Looky, here, you want some ice, Heidi? There she goes. She took her ice. Now we're gonna get the dough out of the fridge. And y'all, looky here. It looks beautiful. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a cookie sheet and I'm gonna start with this one, and I did put some parchment paper down. A lot of times on my cookie sheets, I'll cook with like a silicone mat, like one of these. But what I have found is when I do this, then my cookies, a lot of times they spread too much and they kind of get like runny. They spread out just too much. And so if I use just the cookie sheet, then a lot of times the bottom, will get too brown. So the best thing I have found is to use your cookie sheet, put some parchment paper down. It doesn't seem to affect if they spread out or not, but it does help the bottoms from getting too brown. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this balled up. Today I am using one of these little scooper things. Usually I don't, but I was making some chocolate chip cookies earlier today, and I decided to do that. We had these little scoopers for something else when Jay and I were doing a keto diet, and we were using that to scoop up some cream cheese and stuff. And but I decided to do it. I still will take them and form them in my hands, but it just helps release them and it doesn't get so caked up in your spoon. And I think this is about the size that I want to do today. Now I'm putting on gloves today. You don't have to put on gloves. My hands were already clean, but Jay's going to be taking these in a couple days. He's going to be taking these cookies out to the ranch. And there's a bunch of guys going to go out there, and it's a friend of ours, and they're going to go hunting. So he's going to take these out there, and all the guys are going to show up. So I don't want to be touching all of them. Now, I haven't made these before, so I don't know really how much they're going to spread. I mean, it should be similar to chocolate chips. It's the same type of dough, but just on the safe side, I'm going to scoop these apart, and we'll do a smaller batch. And I think that's a little bit too big. And we'll put these in, and then we'll put these in the oven and just see how they do this first time. So let's put these in the oven. Oops, let me get this cookie sheet out. I have 2 cookie sheets here. I've got my pretty one here on top. Okay, so the oven is on 350. And it's a little bit cooler than chocolate chip cookies. My chocolate chip cookies will go for about 375. This is 350. And I put it on for 8 minutes, and then we're going to check it. Those cookies are in the oven. I'm just scraping the sides of my bowl really quick. And if you like this recipe so far, click the like button, because I have found that lets me know what you like. And then it helps this video spread to other people. And then we got the holidays coming up. So if you're looking for a lot of other recipes like this, and not just desserts, but veggies and just everything you can imagine for Thanksgiving and Christmas, click the subscribe little button thing. And then when we post a new one, it'll pop up for you. And we've got some really neat things that are coming up. So now this is ready. I think while it's in the oven, I'm going to put it back in the fridge and let it just sit in there. Out of the oven, and they came out kind of all different sizes. I'm going to take some of these dried cranberries and put on the top. Like, look at this one over here. Let's see. I'm going to put some on the top of these and kind of smash them down. So I put a few cranberries on top, but y'all, I think what we might want to try is to put these little cranberry pieces on and then put them back in the oven for about 1 minute, because then I think they'll stick better. So let's try that. Okay, let's try these now and let's see how these are. I have not tasted them yet. Now I have to say, I tasted the cookie dough and the cookie dough was really good. So let's take a bite. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Y'all, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. I took one into Jay a while ago and let him try it. And he said, Melissa, this is the best cookie I've ever had. And I was thinking, oh wow, that's really good. And when I taste it, I have to agree. I have to go one more bite. Y'all, this is so good. It is got this crunch on the top, crunch on the inside, but it's also super, super creamy and moist on the inside. Y'all, this is a fantastic cookie. Please make this cookie. Let me know what you think. Send me pictures. I want to see what y'all are doing. And be sure and check out that next video that's popping up. And I will see you there in a few minutes. Bye-bye.